Okay, let's look at Jena's jump rope. This would be level 3 variance, and we're going to look at the detail for, now remember we're going between the actual and the flexible, and we're going to break up this variance apart into price and efficiency. Okay, so they gave us a lot of information here. Here are all of our standards. For direct material, we've got 4 yards of rope at $3.50 a yard. Here's direct labor, an hour and a half at $12. Variable overhead, 1.5 at $2, and fixed overhead, 1.5 at $6. Now, your approach to this, the tricky part about this is when you're doing it, it feels like it all goes in your head okay, and you think, yeah, I know this, and you keep moving on. But when you get on an exam, you can get confused with it because all of a sudden you've got, numbers all over the place and different formulas, and it can be difficult. So it's nice to have a strong approach when you do these, so that you know exactly how you're going to go in. The standard cost per unit, $44, and then they told us that the company manufactured 20,000 units, and they used a total of 78,000 yards of material was purchased for $375 a year, so that would be our actual price. All of this material was used, so the purchased and the used is the same. Okay, to manufacture the 20,000 units, no beginning or ending inventories. They work 32.5 the actual hours. These are the actual hours for labor at a cost of $11.80 per hour. So that's our actual rate. And then we've got overhead information, but this is all from the next chapter. So let's hold it until then, because overhead is a pretty big discussion and it'll just confuse things. It's not the kind of thing you can dip into real quick and be all right. So the first thing that I do, let's say you're on an exam and you're nervous, I would put down the actual price and start with that for actual times actual quantity, then repeat actual quantity times my standard price, then repeat standard price times standard quantity. So this is budget, there's my flexible, and here's my actual costs. And what we're looking for, though, is the price variance and quantity variance. Okay, and we'll take the common term out here. So the price variance is the actual quantity times the difference in price. Actual price minus standard price. And the quantity variance is the standard price. That's your common term. Don't forget you're subtracting these two equations, or two formulas, okay? Standard price times actual quantity minus standard quantity. Now, a couple things. We'll do material first. And remember that the on the price, for price variance, we're going to use the amount purchased. And for quantity or usage variance, we use the amount used. So you could have two different material quantities here. All right, in this case, they're both the same. The amount purchased was the same as the amount used to manufacture the 20,000 units. So we don't have to worry about a difference there. So for my material variance, my actual quantity was 78,000 yards times the actual price. Actual price was $375 per yard. And our standard price is up here. Standard price is $350 per yard. Okay? So that gives us 78,000 times 0.2, 19,500, and it is unfavorable. And it's unfavorable because we actually paid more than what our budget was. Okay. Now for the quantity variance, that would be 350, the standard price, times 78,000 actual quantity, times standard quantity for actual units produced. So our standard quantity is 4 yards of rope, right, for each unit. So that would be 4 yards times 20,000 units. So this is 78,000 minus 80,000. Now at this point, look at these numbers, okay? If this is 78,000 and this is 4,000,005, something's wrong. Okay, they should be in the ballpark of each other. So just check it out. Don't be completely oblivious to the reasonableness of the numbers, because you can catch a lot of mistakes that way. So this would give us $7,000, and it would be a favorable variance because the actual is less. Okay. Then for labor, you might want to recopy the formula down. You can use this if you can translate it in your head, but sometimes, especially if you get nervous, a good thing to do is say actual quantity would be actual hours times the difference in rate, actual rate minus standard rate. And for quantity variance, it would be standard rate times actual hours minus standard hours. Okay, so now you've sort of transitioned to labor. And our actual hours, they tell us it was 32,500 direct labor hours. My actual rate was $11.80 per hour. And they planned on $12, I think. Yeah, $12. So that's 20 cents times 32.5 is 6,500. And that is favorable because the actual rate was less than the budgeted rate. And then for efficiency variance, I'm going to have my standard rate is $12. Actual hours are 32.5. And I'm going to subtract the standard hours. So that's going to be, for labor, they want 1.5 direct labor hours. No, sorry. Yeah, 1.5 direct labor hours is what they plan on. So 1.5 direct labor hours per unit times actual units produced, 20,000. Okay, so now we've got 12 times 32.5 minus 30,000. Okay, and again, reasonable numbers here. You know, they're in the same ballpark, so we're probably in good shape. At least it's not crazy. And this gives us $30,000. 12 times 2,500, $30,000 unfavorable. Okay, because we paid more. Our actual hours, rather, are higher than the standard hours would be, so it's unfavorable. Now we can do variable overhead, but then let's quit there and save the fixed overhead for Chapter 8. Variable overhead is 32.5. What do we have? We know that our actual hours, variable overhead is 1.5 direct labor hours at $2 per hour. And overhead costs are applied to products based on direct labor hours. So we have 32.5. And what I did up here was I took the actual variable overhead costs, the $68,250, divided it by the 32.5 and got a rate of $2.10. That is our actual overhead rate. Okay, so which is a reasonable number? 2.10 minus, it was supposed to be $2 per hour. Okay, so we've got 32.50, and that's unfavorable. All right, because the actual was larger. And then on the on this side, on the quantity variance or efficiency or usage variance, any of the three, we've got a rate of $2, an actual or budgeted rate, times 32.5, our actual hours, minus, again, $1.50 times 20,000 units. Okay, so this is 2 times 32.5 minus 30,000. We've seen that before. So this is $5,000 unfavorable. Oops. Okay, and just save the fixed overhead. But your approach is important on here, okay? Don't just blow this stuff off, because if you're on an exam and you get nervous at all, this will get you grounded, get you in the right spot, and you'll be in real good shape.